CD Projekt Red reported that Witcher 3 had sold 65 million copies, an extremely impressive number. It makes The Witcher 3 one of the best-selling video games of all time. But a number alone tells only part of the story. As Mark Twain wrote, statistics can be misleading. So let's look at the game from a different angle. If we check achievements on Steam, we can see that only 60% of players met Yennefer. Meeting Yennefer is mandatory and happens at the end of Prologue. That means 40% of Steam players stopped playing before completing it. If that proportion held across all 65 million copies sold, we would be talking about 26 million players. The prologue usually takes a couple of hours, but following only the main quest, it can probably be completed in less than an hour. It is a coincidence that players with less than 2 hours of playtime are eligible for a refund. The next major story milestone is finding the Baron's wife and daughter. Only 37% of players reach that point, meaning that 63% stopped playing before getting there. 70% never saved Dandelion, and 75% never found Ciri, even though finding her was the main point of the game. Finally, 78% of the players never finished the game. But these are just numbers, so Mark Twain's warning applies here as well. Nevertheless, the overall pattern is difficult to ignore. Most players apparently stopped playing, some at the very beginning and others later in the story. So, if you stop playing The Witcher 3, you're not alone. In fact, you're a part of the majority. What made you stop? Was it the combat, the overall gameplay, or perhaps the quests? Tell me, I'm genuinely interested in your story. If it was the combat or overall gameplay, I suggest giving the game another chance. This time with Dodgy Basterds installed. Dodgy Basterds redesigned the entire gameplay around sword combat. It begins with tight hitboxes aligned with weapons and skeleton bones. A fast blade can skip a target between frames, so we check its entire path and detects the exact point of contact. Once the exact hit location is known, armor no longer has to be represented by a single total number. Each piece protects only the part of the body it actually covers, leaving exposed areas and real weak points. Directional attacks give players the control needed to target those weak points. 6 main attack directions are available, grouped into 3 fighting styles. The camera angle adjusts the blade direction even further, both vertically and horizontally. Weapons differ not by damage numbers, but their reach, shape and weight, but most importantly, by its quality. Better weapons can slice through the shitty ones as a hot knife through the butter. A precise counterattack to the enemy's weapon hand will disarm them. Losing a weapon completely changes the outcome of the fight, causing enemy to panic, beg for mercy and flee. The traditional damage system has been replaced with critical wounds and bleeding. The outcome depends on where and how the strike lands. A devastating hit can kill immediately, sever a limb, or leave an opponent unable to fight. Someone who survives the initial wound may crawl away, but still die from blood loss.
That's enough of that.
Difficulty is not driven by damage sponges, but simulating reaction times. The higher difficulty, the tighter iframes, the dodgy enemies. Tougher enemies are simply more experienced fighters. They dodge, parry, counterattack, and try to protect themselves at all times instead of simply absorbing damage.
Not too late to surrender.
Vanilla combat is staged through artificial restrictions. These restrictions create the appearance of danger, while quietly protecting the player. Dodgy Basterds removes them and placing players and AI under the same rules. Both sides must manage stamina, avoid hitting allies, choose their position and find clear line of an attack. And this is far from everything. There is much more to Dodgy Basterds, and I could talk about it for hours, but sometimes it is better to see it for yourself. Download and try the demo. The links are in the description and in the pinned comment.